Okay, what we're doing today is going to install the Zex blackout kit, our nitrous oxide system that we decided to go with. Hey Braxton, buddy, I just wanted to give you a thumbs up, tell you we're going ahead with this. It's Father's Day. It's about 11 a.m. and we're going over the parts. The system is got a lot of nice parts in it. This is the management control unit. It shows you where the nitrous goes in, the fuel goes in, the nitrous goes out, and the fuel goes out. So your solenoids are in there, self-contained. It's a nice, real nice looking unit. It's got a light on it and a switch. So we should be able to program our unit that way. They've got some grommets in here, mounting hardware. A resistor wire that hooks up to the throttle body so that the system doesn't throw any check engine lights. So we're going to use that when we're hooking up to our throttle body wiring. We've got a nice two options for arming the system. One of them is just plugs into the cigarette lighter attachment up in front of the shifter, so we're probably going to go with that at first, and maybe we'll switch over to this style, more permanent, but you have to drill some holes. So I want to see where I want to put that first before we go ahead and start drilling it. If I use the system a while, I think that'll be obvious where it needs to go. The other thing is this is the actual jet itself. It's got the fuel and nitrous labels on it where you're going to hook up those supply lines. And in the top is where the jets will reside in there for the different horsepower shots. So they got some nice braided wiring, coated. This is the actual mounting system for the bottle itself. A nice set of instructions here. Do read all the instructions. It gives you a lot of insight on what you're going to be doing and why you're doing it that way. And there's also a step-by-step how to get started. And then of course we have the nitrous bottle here, which we are going to mount in the back of the Camaro here, up in the passenger side system, with the valve face towards the front of the system and the spout, or the big fitting going down to the line. That will provide the pickup tube with the most liquid throughout the life of the bottle, as far as, you know, when we have to get it refilled when it gets low, get the most out of it. All right. Yeah, another thing that we have here is a set of 8 spark plugs that we're going to use. These are cooler spark plugs with a cooler heat range that will support our nitrous installation and usage. So don't forget, if you have to go with, if you decide you want to go with the nitrous setup, you're going to have to change out the spark plugs. Okay, let's get this bottle mounted. What we do here is set this thing up so that it's going to support the bottle under any conditions. The bottle is raised in the beginning here, up in the front, where the valve is. And if you look underneath, what you want to do is make sure you keep the bottle in the back from rubbing on the bottom of the trunk there, in the floor of the trunk. This way you don't get any unusual wear. And up in the front, I moved it back just a little bit to keep it tilted at the maximum amount, but still to have good support. Center to center on the hold is 8 inches. So I made up a quick template, measured, so I could get this thing in without messing around too much. So looks like 3.5 center to center on the holes, and then I did 8 inches from here to here. So we're going to use this as a template. Hopefully it works out okay. I think it will. This looks like a good location here. We'll still be able to get to our panel here. and we'll have some support, and I can get up to the valve without too much difficulty, and get this thing taken in and out when we need to get it filled. So I like to leave a little bit of room around it, but not too much. And to consider, I'll show you the locations where I'll put some of this stuff. Here's the jet. As you can see over here, it's labeled nitrous and fuel. I looped it around, made a rubber stand off here, just a piece of 3/8 fuel line. Okay, we made some progress here getting some of the install done. Just going to go over a few things here. The biggest problem in the install is the people at Zex tell you to hook up to a trigger wire, basically, that runs around 0.5 volt at idle and 4.5 volts at full throttle, as this opens here. So you actually have to go and take everything off of the intake and then probe each wire individually, because they claim that the blueprint changed so many times for this car. So I don't know, but I did look it up and found out that it looked like it was probably going to be the purple wire, and it turns out it's the purple wire. So I'm going to show you here. Here's the connector that goes over to the throttle body. This is the white wire that'll get hooked up to the Zex module that controls the solenoids, and you can see I've just kind of wrapped it. I split the insulator on the purple wire and wrapped it with this. I'm going to just hit it with some solder and then tape it up. I really don't like using crimp connectors and stuff like that. After doing years of installations on motorcycles and things like that, I hardwire pretty much everything and solder it. So this is the purple wire. That's the wire you're looking for. It did give me 1.5 volts at closed butterfly valve here, and 4.5 just like they said at open. They said those were approximate voltages. All the other ones, nothing was even close. So the other thing is you have to turn the key on in the car and probe these wires with this plugged into the throttle body. If you probe those wires without it plugged into the throttle body, you won't get the correct voltages. Okay, so now we've got our wire here. It's kind of dark. Going into the connector, into the purple wire, coming out, and that's hooked up to the voltage meter. So you can see with the key on now, we got 1.4 volts, and when the butterfly is open, 4.32. Okay, so we should be all set now to hook that up to the control module. Getting down to the last steps here. We're putting in our cooler spark plugs in. My buddy up at RDP store, Dyno Steve, said gap them at 30 thousandths. So we just checked all the gaps. Again, these are TR6IX Iridium plugs by NGK. We're going to go ahead and put them in. Up to the fuel rail here. There's a port there, pressure port. You take a little Schrader valve out of there, and you put your AN fitting right on there. We've done our plugs, so we have our cooler plugs in, and then coming out the bottom of this system, we have the nitrous out and the fuel out to supply the jet, the main jet here. Then you have 2 smaller jets that fit in here. And again, this is the wire for the throttle body going from the control management unit. The control management unit has a button here and an LED here. When the LED is green, it's ready to go. Inside the car, one last thing is our arming power button here. That's armed and that's off. Okay, what we're going to do right now is do a tune download to the CPU of the car. We just installed our nitrous, so now we have to have a special tune, a custom tune that was emailed from Steve, Dyno Steve at the ODP store today. So we're going to go ahead and put our nitrous tune on. So this is going to be done with our SCT X4. I'll go through the steps real quick here. It only takes about 10 minutes. X4. It's plugged into the ODB 2 port right now, and we're gonna do the program the vehicle. All right. So you're gonna turn your key on, but don't start the car. So we hit continue here. See, turn vehicle's key on. Okay, we've already done that. We say okay, continue. Now it's processing data, and it'll show us the tunes that we have on here. We have our original tune when I first started making some modifications. There's also a back to stock tune, but that's not listed here because this is under the custom tune stuff. So we have the RDP 1.1, RDP 1.2, and then we put headers on a few things, and then the nitrous. So now we have the 2.1 natural. That's for when we're not using nitrous. The timing will be a little more advanced, and then the nitrous tune. So we're going to choose the nitrous tune because we're going to the track in a little while here. And then it'll ask you one more time if you're sure that's the one that you want. Here we go. Custom tune, RDP 2.2 nitrous tune. So we're going to hit continue. At this point, you really don't do anything but wait. It's going to go ahead and do a bunch of different things. Prepares the data. Okay, it unlocked the processor, and now it's programming the vehicle. It's writing the ECM tune. And you'll get some various bells and whistles and blinking lights and going on, but don't worry about that. Just don't touch anything and let it do its thing. That's the main thing with this. You don't unplug anything. The battery can't go dead. Nothing can happen. I don't even open the car doors or do anything. I just try to keep them closed and just relax for about 10 minutes and watch everything happen. Now it's going through another iteration of unlocking the processor. We've got some, sometimes you get some codes or alerts coming up on your digital information center up there. Just don't worry about it. Seems like stable track likes to come on. I'll check the stable track system sometimes. Now you can see it said setting up processor and writing TCM tune data. So we'll have to go through that as well. You can see the time now is 1:01, so it hasn't really taken that long. Then we're back up to 99%. Get a few more bells and whistles. Okay, it's just about done. It's clearing the DTC. Okay, it says turn the vehicle's key off. It's powering down the vehicle. Download complete. Tune has been programmed successfully to vehicle. Turn key off, which has already been done. And that's it.